The name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who we believe came in the person of Master Father Muhammad. And we thank those two for leaving in our midst. I'm sorry. Yeah. Who came in the person of Master Father Muhammad. And I thank him for raising up for us the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I thank those two for leaving in our midst the divine warner and guide and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's in there 3 names. I would like to greet you with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Today, for those who are tuning in, for your very first time, you may be a little confused, but may not. Because last Friday, if you was here last Friday, I said, well, typically when we listen to the minister, we give feedback following. So last Friday, we listened to Belief in Allah, and today we want to give feedback on it. So this is the time where you take all your notes that you have from last Friday, or you take your notes if you was able to watch it, listen to a little bit this morning, and we just share and we dialogue. So today may not be as long because everybody don't always share, but those of us who will share, we'll kind of carry the message today, and then we're going to end off, and then we're going to start the lecture, whichever message we're going to listen to tomorrow. But today is going to be all feedback on the lecture called Belief in Allah. And if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It goes very well with the lecture that the lectures or messages that we listened to all last week. And if you didn't listen to all the ones we had last week, please go listen to it. We started off with what you should do at the beginning of the year, how to write out your vision, discovering your purpose, finding your purpose. I mean, it was really deep, man. It was all about self-improvement. Somebody said, why do you need Christians and Jews to rescue you? I don't know what you talking about early this morning, getting on here asking. No, I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest with you. But come on the call, though. Come on power call and give your feedback. But I don't know what you talking about this morning, man. You don't woke up, forgot your orange juice, man. Get you some orange juice, man, and calm down. Get you a little drink. Man, it's Monday. It's Monday, man. It's Monday. Okay, so everybody press the number 3 if you have something. Now, just playing. Go ahead and press the number 1. See, y'all be pressing number 1 and y'all don't be knowing what number I'm going to throw out there to you. Go ahead and press the number 1 if you have anything that you would like to share from the message of Belief in Allah last Friday, or if you had a chance to watch it this morning. We're going to start off with Sister Farah. Oh, my nose not even connected to my...
Assalamu alaikum, family.
Wa alaikum salam. We can hear you. Are you there?
Points that stood out to me was he said, when you don't act on the idea, and I'm not quoting anything word for word, I'm just putting what I got out of it. He was speaking on when you don't act on the idea, Allah will give it to someone else who will bring the vision into fruition. And most people talk the thought, but then their thought gets lost because they don't act on it. It's like showing the baby before the baby is a baby. He said, who wants to see a clot? We speak it before we think on the thought. He says, get your thoughts developed, and that it must be developed in darkness. Don't be so quick to think on the idea before you've even taken time to develop that idea. Keep your ideas to yourself. Allow yourself time to plan it out, write it down on paper. He said, develop your ideas and develop the method or plan of execution. He said, the picture is in your brain. The picture is in your brain. You can draw it on a piece of paper so that you can keep the vision before your eyes, but you still have to actualize the vision. It's not enough to just put it down on a piece of paper. Put it down on a piece of paper, but then go and act on it. He said it's only actualized when you bring it into concrete reality. Without faith, you can't work the vision. If you see it, you have to not fruition. Not just believe in God, but believe.
You starting to break
Belief
up?
is. Oh, I apologize.
I can hear you now.
Oh, you hear me now? Okay. Um, Belief isn't worth anything to anybody until it is translated and backed behind works. He said something like that, and I thought that was deep. What else did he say? Oh, he said he brought, why haven't we conquered yet after 60 years of having the word of God in our midst? And I always wondered the same thing. You know, teachers have been around for so long, but you know, especially being new to it, I'm like, they've been around this long. We'll be done with it. But he says this is due to lack of belief in Allah. A lot of us say we believe, but we're still really striving to gain understanding and believe. He said most of us only believe in what we can see. So that's what stood out to me the most. It made me think of Noah as well. A lot of us didn't believe in Noah because we couldn't see it. We didn't see any floods or flooding. So, you know, they're in the middle of the desert. So it was hard for them to see that they would need Noah's Ark in the middle of a desert. All right, that's all I had. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Brother Timothy.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Let me try to get this camera on. Man, every time I hop on here, it looked like my face is backwards or something. But all right, here we go. These are notes that I took.
It is.
It is, right? I thought it was just me. All right, but what stood out to me was in the beginning, student minister Ishmael brought up Proverbs 29, verse 18, where there is no vision, the people can perish. That really stood out to me because, you know, a lot of us is, not to say it like that, we dumb, deaf, and blind due to the lack of knowledge will make us ignorant. So he said Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish. That was quoted in the section of the Bible. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So me, I just continue to strive to keep that law. I don't want to perish. I want to have a clear vision, and I want to be happy as a man. He that keep his faith, he that keepeth belief in Allah, happy is he. And in order to have that vision fulfilled, you then must have faith. And not a part of faith, but all of faith, full submission to the will of Allah, which is Islam. You gotta have Islam in your life. Because God is the best of planners and the all-knowers of things. And then the Quran, Surah 2, Ayah 152, it says, so remember me, and I will remember you, and thank me, and do not be ungrateful to me. So just me, personally, I try to keep the remembrance of Allah on my mind 24/7, all day of the year, every day of the year, so that I can continue, if I remember, I can continue to have that belief, I can continue to have that faith, and I can continue to strive. The minister said, I don't know what lecture it was, but the minister said, what is it called? Okay, somebody posted something about the minister. The minister said that Jesus Christ said, it's not about what comes out of you, it's about what you allow inside of you to compel you. That's what made man go down. That was they downfall. It was what they allowed to go inside of them, because what went inside of them is what they then reflected. So I just try to pay attention to what I consume, not just food, but what I listen to, what I hear, what I read, because it goes straight to the mind, and it can rub right off. It can rub off, and it can be easily seen. And then in Malachi chapter 4, verse 5, it says, "Behold." I like when he said, "Behold." He said, "Look, pay attention, look." I like how the minister talks sometimes, but he was like, "Look, pay attention." something to that nature. But behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. So I never knew that the Bible said that Elijah will rise or come for us in the end of the Bible. I never know that was said ever. So hearing the minister say that, it kind of wowed me, because we do got the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in our midst today. And the minister said that in the Quran, that they say that that's who Muhammad is. So I'm grateful for all the prophets prior to Muhammad, and I'm also grateful for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And that's all I'm gonna say for right now. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Hey, when you said man, it looked like you backwards. You look kind of it look funny to you when you looking at yourself like that, don't it?
Yeah, it looked like it. Yeah.
Blink your right eye.
My right eye.
That's your right eye right there.
That's my right eye.
Oh man, look at this. No, there was a reason I asked this. I'm about to show y'all something, because I always thought, and this is random. Well, not random. It's based on what you said. But I always thought when I look at people in the mirror, their faces look slanted for some. It's like something is wrong. And you ever notice? Have y'all ever noticed that when you're taking a picture, you look good to yourself when you taking the picture, but when you turn it around and look at it, you like, damn, man, let me take the picture again. You got to keep taking it, but you just knew that when I took it, I look good. The smile was on point, but then when you look at it, it's crooked. It's like something is off. Man, let me share this video with y'all, man. I saw this video. Now, y'all ignore the mushroom part. Y'all ignore that part. But he made a good point in this video. Y'all, I want y'all to check this out. I'm glad you said that. Look at this.
Back up in this bitch, you feel me? There's new frames in the gallery, link in the bio. But listen, I got something important to tell y'all, because I just got done traveling with the spirits. It's been a long time since I had one of the magic school bus trips. Some of you will hear me, most of you won't, but either way, pass this video around because it'll make sense to somebody you know. You are the product of your belief. Listen to what I'm saying to you. You are the product of your belief. If you want to be a better product, then you have to practice. Like how a doctor practices medicine, you have to practice better beliefs. Most people don't become anything because they don't believe in anything, not even themselves. I'm gonna break this down to you the way that it was broken down to me. And once I do, you're never gonna look at yourself the same again. If you write your name on a piece of paper and you hold the paper up in the mirror, you can't read the words because the words are backwards. Follow me? If the words are backwards on the paper, then what version of yourself do you think you've been staring at? Your whole life, the idea, the concept, the way that you perceive you has been completely backwards as the words on the paper. In real time, you've never seen the reflection of the image that created you. There's more. The only time you've ever seen yourself, actually stared deeply at yourself, was in a picture. Not a selfie, a picture that someone takes of you. That's when you look at it and go, oh, I don't like that, take it again. Oh, I don't like that, take it again. Oh, I don't like... Take what again? That's you. From every single angle, that is you. But because the perspective isn't flipped, the way that it is in the mirror, the way that you're used to seeing yourself, you don't like what you see. Because what you're staring at is the truth. You are the truth. What is it about the truth that you don't like when you see it? Because that person, yo, that's the person. That's the person, yo. The person that you want to take it again. That's the individual that goes out and represents you in the world. You can't take that person again when it steps into a room for the first time. So, let me ask you, now that you know what you know, how does it make you feel? Realizing that your whole life, you've been staring at a false image. You've been sharing a bathroom with a stranger. Why do you think I don't make videos in the bathroom anymore? Stranger. Don't know that person. Once you know the truth, it'll change your life. It should, if you expect to be a better product.
Man, ain't that deep, man? I seen that, I was like, wow. Because when I usually take pictures with people, They say you want to see the picture. I be like, no. I mean, and it's before I say I don't want to see it. Like, hey, I mean, it's gonna still be me. You know, you know what I'm saying? So like, think about how many of us we take the pit. Think about when you doing your selfie and you take it over and over and over and it ain't right. I wasn't smiling right. Something was wrong. But when you go into a room, bro, that's the one you didn't like. That's the image that they see. So yeah, Instagram, they may see the one that you think you like, but everybody in the world, that's the picture they see every time you step in the room. And because we are looking at like you said, a false image, a false perspective, the mirror, I don't know, it make us look a certain type of way. But then when you look at yourself, you're like, man, I didn't look like that when I snapped the picture. I knew it was perfect when I snapped the picture, but when I see it, something is off. So I don't know, man. It may be deeper. I don't know what y'all got out of that, but I always thought that. I always thought that when I'm looking in the mirror at somebody, it's different. Like to me, their faces look crooked. My face don't look crooked, but if somebody's standing next to me and I'm looking, I'm like, it look like they face is kind of like this. It's like it's weird. So yeah, man, that's something to think about. All of us who take those 30 pictures to get one selfie, hey man, you can't do that in the real world. They see this, they seen that first picture you took. That's what they see. So get used to it and accept your own and be yourself and accept that this is who I look like and this is what I look like. All right. So let's go to the next person. The next person we got is Brother Wesley.
Assalamu alaikum, family. We definitely need some more ones in the chat for sure. Just gonna throw that out there, put some ones in there. But I appreciate you saying it because that took my mind to somewhere else as well. Because I think about like when I was doing music real heavily as well, I would be very self-conscious of the way my voice sounds. And the way you hear it in the headphones, listen to it back, you're like, oh, I ain't say that word just right. But other people in the studio or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, that's nice. I like that. But I'm thinking, no, it don't sound the way I heard it when I was writing it in my head. That voice you have in your head is different from the voice that you actually project. And that's in everything. And even I think about when you say that, thinking about my journey of self-improvement, I for one point was very self-conscious of the words that I say because I don't want to sound wrong or whatever. So-called, all these thoughts that come up in your mind. That's another reflection of the false perception of yourself because you can see all the faults in yourself, but everybody else is not looking at that. It's almost like having a spot on your shirt that only you know. You have that one little ketchup dot that hit that white shirt, but you're the only one that know that it went there. So you think about, well, let me just stand here and put my hand up here. Maybe that's going to take it away. When in all actuality, you're drawing more attention to the fault that no one else is looking at. So I appreciate you sharing that as well, brother. But what going back to the belief in Allah lecture, one of the things that stood out, and Sister Farah kind of touched on a few of those things that I had wrote down in reference to thinking on the thought long enough. But throughout the lecture, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us quite a few formulas as far as being able to bring things into reality from different perspectives, as far as from mind to paper to working it out to bring it into reality. And then from a spiritual standpoint on when the minister brought out receiving the word is light, then our faith and belief is a light on top of the light or light times light, which magnifies the power in the word, which unlocks the power of our faith in the word. And that power times power gives us the ability to do the work of Allah, the work that Allah has put on us, which is carrying out that purpose of Allah, which is establishing the kingdom of God on earth. That formula in itself is powerful. When I really look at it, the way it's written down as well, just understand how they go together. And the minister was saying that just having faith is not enough, carrying it into practice, but then just having the word by itself is not enough. You can hear the word. And I thought that and related it to like the power call. It's one thing to come on the power call, hear these lectures, hear this, the inspiration, hearing these different speeches and whatnot. But if we're not carrying it into practice, if we don't even believe that what is being shared can actually benefit us and can be put into practice, then they don't go together. It's almost like you disconnected from the plug. You need to be able to have the word. You got to receive the word. You got to believe in God. You got to believe in yourself. And you got to believe that the power in the word can actually improve self. So we got to put all of that together, which then is going to unlock the power that you already have within yourself to carry out your vision, which ultimately is carrying out the vision of Allah, because he's the best of planners. So whatever it is that we're striving to carry out, whatever Allah has blessed us to be able to see or envision, It's all a part of his plan, which ultimately helps one another. So just being able to understand the formulas of this, and I don't want to get too deep, and I believe in the lectures where I have to go find out exactly which one, but it was said that Master Fard Muhammad spoke in formula, and then the most honorable Elijah Muhammad then explained the formula. And now we're in the position now where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is making it even more plain for us to break down the formula for us to be able to carry it out. So I'm paraphrasing, and anyone else who's aware of that being as well, please share on that. But yeah, that's what really stood out to me. And inshallah, we get some more ones in the chat. I'll come back and share a few other things. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. I see Brother Daniel.
Yes, sir. Oh, praises due to Allah. That message, the divine message, is so powerful. I had to go revisit it because I was so on high when I heard it Friday. I said, I got to revisit this just to get a few points to speak on because so much has transpired over the weekend. But and re-listening to it, what really hit my mind, just the wisdom of an idea. I realized that until I generate an idea, then I'm living in a thought or thoughts that might not manifest because they're not strong enough to become ideal. It makes me think about how all divine purpose is rooted in ideas, and thoughts come and they go, but I have to study enough to generate enough power where my thoughts become an idea, like Yakub was born with a determined idea. And I saw that the message was really rooted in striving to get the believer and our people in general to think more so on ideas and less on emotional realms that come and go. It reminds me of what Sister Ava said when she said, you're not who you think you are, but what you think. And that what you think seems to me is related to ideas. Who we think is just more so thoughts and things that come and go. It also reminds me of what the brothers just said when he was talking about looking in the mirror and things like that. Until we get an idea of who we are from Allah, then I'm subject to change with circumstances, emotions, feelings, things that people say to me affect me too much because I haven't determined an idea from Allah that has become the base of my thinking. So it just makes me really reflect on the importance of the things we must do: study, pray, eat right, develop the mind, develop activity, as our brother was just talking about. The minister spoke to how activity is important to developing ideas. Where there is no activity, it's going to be impossible for me to develop an idea. And then I also realized in the adverse, the things that I do that are against God, those are ideas. When I break divine law, that is an idea that the enemy has planted in me. And I have sown or bought into that idea. So now I find myself doing that which is against God because the enemy had more success with getting me to marry on to his ideas as opposed to the ideas of the Messiah and the exalted Christ and God himself. So those are some of the things that's coming to my mind now, and I think I'm gonna have to come back around. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Brother Maximus.
Assalamu alaikum, family.
Alaikum.
Belief in Allah made me think about the minister's Savior Day speech. When he talked about belief, you know, like some of the people were saying, is belief counts for nothing unless carried into practice. And I noticed in a lot of his speeches, when he talks about our correlation to Allah, it comes back to self-knowledge of ourselves, self-consciousness, self-improvement. Because in his lecture, he talked about focus on self and life experience. Trials and tribulation connect us to Allah God. So we don't understand ourselves and do the the things that, because we could quote many things what the minister says, but how do we pattern it in our lives? How do we carry it into practice? What are we doing to improve? You know, and it goes back to, like I said, we all have an area. My area is accounting finance. So there's certain things that I will find interesting that some won't find interesting. And some areas I'm stronger in that some others are not stronger in. But when we work together, and you know, formulate those groups where to help us in our weak areas, that will also help us bring us closer to Allah. Because to have knowledge of self is to have knowledge of God. To have knowledge of God is to have knowledge of self. So, you know, it comes down to how strong is our belief? You know, how do we, you know, pattern our lives into change? You know, it goes like, I remember him talk about, God promised us great homes, monies, and friendships in all walks of life. But if we pour rag in an outdoor and have that negative view, do we really believe in Allah? What do people see in us? So that's all I wanted to say. I'll leave it at that. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Brother Will.
Peace, family. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Brother Ben, the host, for having the power call this morning. Hopefully, everyone's weekend was great. What I took out of the lecture for me, it was when the minister said, he was talking about a vision, and he said that it starts from a thought. You have to think on the thought so that can become an idea. And then once you've thought out a plan and put it into fruition, then it becomes a vision that you have to carry out. But it makes me also think about the basis of community development, excuse me, is self-improvement. So when we begin to improve ourselves, or when we begin to carry out the vision of having the all the homes, the money, the friendship with all life, when we're carrying out that vision, we have to be implementing all the steps that the minister has laid out for each and every one of us. Secondly, I would say that this was actually one of my favorite lectures because it tied together all of what we heard last week on the power call, from writing your vision to actually putting in the work to formulate or bring it into fruition. And then most of all, when he was talking about how the minister said that, or pointed out how we were formulated in the womb and it was in darkness. And he said sometimes the reason why we can't manifest what we're thinking or what we are trying to manifest is because we're speaking on it when we haven't put enough work into bringing it out. And it made me think about what you said, Brother Ben. Like, I think that was last month or maybe the month before, when you were you said in one of your clips, you were talking about how when we have an idea, we don't need to go jump around. We need to stick with that one idea until it actually works. And then you went on to say how when we have an idea and we don't put the work in behind, I'm paraphrasing, but we don't put the work in behind it and it doesn't work, it's not that the idea wasn't good, it's the fact that we did not let enough time build up, and we try to put a lot of pressure onto something, on a business that hasn't had the time to mature. And then you gave the great reference when you said it's like having a child. You said you're not going to leave a child at home to watch his little sister or little brother when the child's only one. And then you said, so why would we, when we have a new business, try to put all the responsibilities on that business in the first 1 or 2 months? You said, no, give it time for it to build up. So when you speak, Brother Ben, it's like you are so in tune with the minister. And I just thank God for both of you all. And I thank God for the lectures and for all the hosts. Peace.
Man, all praise is due to Allah. I forgot I even said that. That was a while ago, man. Yeah, that was thank you for sharing that. One of the things that stood out, the minister said God comes to give us a word. He says that word contains light, life, and power. He says a word and a well-developed plan / idea, method, and a program that will lead to our coming out with great substance. So the minister is giving us he's giving us the steps and the ingredients that needs to be inside to bring about this result that we want. He says, when you have an idea or a thought, you can't just have the thought. The minister said you must think on the thought. And then he said you must formulate a plan, because when you have those thoughts, like somebody mentioned, somebody else may pick up on those thoughts, pick up on that frequency. Now they done brought it into fruition because you didn't go and execute on it. So we can't just think about it. We can't just have an idea. We must develop and formulate a plan in a method in which we are going to bring the thought into existence, and a program that will lead us to the coming out with great substance. Right? So when we are studying and when we are reading, we're not supposed to be reading just to read. We're not supposed to just be listening just to listen. We must develop a actual plan. Now, what is a plan? Because I don't want to assume we know what a plan is. Many of us have been saying plan since we was younger, but what does plan actually mean? Let's look at it. It says a plan is a detailed proposal for doing or achieving something. It says in bullet point 2, an intention or decision about what one is going to do. Now let's look at what Miriam said. A drawing or diagram. It says a method for achieving an end, a detailed formulation of a program of action. Look at this. So I want us to start to analyze how much stuff that we think about, how many ideas we think about, how many things we say we want to accomplish and we don't accomplish it. And I want us to go look into our lives and say, did I formulate a program? And this ain't my word, this is the minister saying, did I develop a plan? Did I come up with a method? Did I think on the thought? Because oftentimes it's not that we can't do it. We just didn't do what it takes to get it done. It's not that, I didn't accomplish that because I wasn't great enough. It wasn't, I didn't have the capability. No, we probably had the capability of doing it. We just didn't do it the right way. We just didn't map it out. We didn't plan it. And if we're saying that we're gods, right? Oh, I'm the original man and woman. I'm the mother of mother and father of the planet Earth. Yeah, all that is true now. But now how do we actualize that? How do we use that now in our life to say, I have the ability as well to say be, and it is. I have that ability as well to say, you know what? I am going to take control over my life versus letting life take control over me. And the minister said this in he said, watch this part. I didn't write this part down. I think I wrote down what he said after that. But he said, if you don't have another vision after he fires you, meaning your boss, because he was going hard on, we don't have a vision. We don't even have a worthy goal. We're just living in somebody else's vision, right? He says, you've been faithful to somebody else's vision. And then he said, God is closing his, meaning whoever vision you in, to force you out, which made me think, man, a lot of things that destroyed. No, maybe God wasn't pleased with it. So he's forcing you out to accept his vision, to accept the vision that he has given you. But because you're so consumed and you don't want to step out on faith and whatever the reason is, you won't accept the vision that he's showing you. So he finna force you out. Yeah, he's not going to let you stay complacent in being mediocre. He's going to cause you to be uncomfortable. And this reminds me that when the minister said, when he wants to polish you, he'll put sandpaper around you. So it can come in the form of a situation. It can come in the form of a so-called annoying person who's really got that sandpaper smoothing you out, causing you friction, but it's designed to make you a better person. It's designed to make you say, all right, God, all right, man, I submit now. And at the end of that, you may not be happy in the middle of the situation that we're going through. We may not be happy with the person that's getting on my last nerves. But at the end of it, we say, wow, we have come out of this with great substance because I have finally accepted the vision. I finally accepted the word, and I finally accepted the plan, and I put together an idea so that I won't be in it, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says we get changed when the people is 100% dissatisfied. That brings about a change. So sometimes we are not changing. Sometimes we are not growing. Sometimes we are not accepting his way because we're not too dissatisfied yet. Oh, but when we get dissatisfied, when we get fed up, that's when we accept the plan and start to put something together to make our lives better. So sometimes the situation and the person that's getting on our nerves and making us dissatisfied, that's designed. That's ordained. Accept it and make a better life for ourselves. All right, let's go to, I see brother, is that Brother Daniel? Did he say that while I was talking? Oh, Sister Yolanda. Oh man, that's a whole list I didn't even see. Sister Yolanda.
You hit on one of my points. Well-developed plan, scheme, methodology, called God's plan for our salvation, for our deliverance from the open oppressor. But nevertheless, wow. In my opinion, the Miles Monroe lectures we've listened to, and then belief in the law on top of in study group, we're in study guide 5, building the will. And all that, what you said, Brother Ben, it takes me back also to what Miles Monroe said. Everything, God dang, where did my notes go? Okay, give me 1 second. All true visions will be tested for authenticity. All true visions will be tested for authenticity. What vision will do when you discover it? Choose your future, choose your friends, choose your library, choose how you use your time. Vision would choose your movies. Vision would choose for your priority, your energy. Vision would choose your hobby. Choosing your friends. And then in all of that, he also said, vision should be stimulated by your friends. Nevertheless, if you outgrow your friends, if you are, and you the smartest one in the group, it's time to leave the group. God almighty. I experienced something this weekend and I'm not leaving. Nevertheless, I need to choose the proper sandpaper when I am fellowshipping with my sisters. And in that, by saying me not to be too aggressive, too persistent for myself, because as you mentioned, God's word comes to give you life, light, and power. Life and power. So if these teachings are bringing me life, and power, so therefore I am going to study the man. As Noah was building the ark, complacent in where I am, man, I don't need no ark. I got an umbrella, I got a tarp, I got my survival kit ready. I don't need to get on no ark with you and this, that, and the other thing. No flood coming like that it's gonna take me out of here. I didn't become too complacent, Yolanda. You didn't become too complacent. Get yourself together. Study the man. Study your teachers. He is a man that's bringing forth a word that came from a man. So in my lack of ignorance, you don't know everything. Let me study what he's saying. Let me study his works. And then let me take a little piece at a time and put it into practical application into myself. So once I come into a thing, I like to share information. I like to share with my people. Hey, this is what I came across.
Wait, Sister Yolanda, you accidentally got muted. Unmute yourself again. There you go.
I'm like him.
Walaikum, we hear you.
Okay, and me getting sharing my information, I have to be mindful for myself not to have so much anticipation or want for what I see in somebody else, because they gotta see it first. I can't have it for me. If he gave them the vision and I could sow into it by giving it in, okay, go ahead. But like Sister Farah mentioned, if you don't take the vision and use it, he gonna give it to somebody else. So in study guide, that my desire not be as strong as theirs for them to do whatever they do. And in study guide, it says a child who is crawling does not realize he has the ability to walk until he performs the act. What triggers his conscious and deliberate action of walking? Desire. Without desire, we have lost the nourishment, strengthen our will, which weakens and is ultimately starved to death. So then I see somebody else carrying out a vision I had, but I ain't never do nothing with it. I can't be mad at that brother or sister. I didn't act upon nothing that he gave me. It's all in everything we get, from my espresso shot to Miles Monroe. Everybody's saying the same thing. It might be coming in differently, but the bottom line is God's word came to give you life, light, and power. Why I'm still in this same state of mind? I ain't using nothing I'm getting. Get a million coaches. I could be on this call every day. I'm not going to use or drink none of the prescriptions that's been given to me. What I'm doing?
Come on.
What I'm doing? How can I be striving and I have made no progress? I can't strive and make no progress. Light and day, they not going to be in the same space. What we going to have? The light? I don't even know how to make up a word for that. But nevertheless, there go that word, nevertheless. Because if I say but, it negates everything I said. So I got to go back to the nevertheless. Nevertheless, I choose the right sandpaper on myself too. As y'all mentioned those images, I used to wonder, well, how come I took the image right here and now it's showing my left side? I took that from the right. What the heck? So I don't even like taking pictures. Maybe I don't like what I see, but guess what? I'm gonna start looking and taking pictures. Now I ain't getting taking no pictures. I'm gonna just keep looking in that mirror and be like, I love what I'm seeing in this image right here. I'm under construction. He making sidewalks so I can walk on them and not have to. I might get a little pebble every once and again, but let me stay on course. God's word comes to give you life, light, and power. Don't matter however somebody else demonstrating it. That ain't the man I'm supposed to be looking at it if it's leading me off into the alley instead of the sidewalk that he paving in front of me. Let me get back on course. Let me get back on course. Let me keep. I'm gonna be who I am. I'm gonna share. If you don't like my giddy and my sharing, and me, I like people to laugh. Hey, we all going through something. Thank you for your transparency, nephew. Good God Almighty. And in that situation that I experienced, I was a little hurt. I was like, what the heck? You want me to be somebody I'm not? I'm going to be who I am. If I'm bringing in somebody, they need to see me. I came from where they came from. I ain't above them. I won't hold your hand because somebody holding my hand. You might can't see the hand, but if you get in these teachers and in the word, God's word comes to give you light, life, and power. Peace, y'all.
Yes, ma'am. Ooh, nevertheless. She needs a hoodie that say nevertheless. Nevertheless. Man. This thing says, he said the servant was so full of the word, it rains and brings up vegetation like a cloud. Moses was drawn up like clouds are drawn up. It said that the winds caused Moses to something. I put wind, but I'm pretty sure he didn't say that. And he dropped wisdom and converts rose up. So when we think about our purpose, it says that he, was full of the word. So it sounds like that's the first step we have to get full of the word, full of the word. But what I'm learning, man, is that people learn differently. Somebody may be full of the word and all they have to do is listen to a podcast. Somebody else may be full of the word and all they had to do is watch a video. Somebody else may be full of the word and the way that they got full was through reading it on paper. So we have to, when we say knowledge of self, yes, it is understanding that I'm the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Yeah, it's that. But man, knowing me, how I learn, how I communicate, my personality type. I just learned a new personality type that I'm going to share with y'all in the next upcoming weeks. That's even deeper than a DISC assessment. Now, some of us saw the power of that DISC assessment, how we was like, oh my goodness, I read it was on point. Man, this new one I got, oh my goodness, this thing right here was so on point. This thing was to the T to me. But man, when I'm looking at it, it's like, wow, I can clearly see, I can clearly see how conflicts that I've had, disagreements that I've had, why we disagreed. Because we are literally two different human beings that see things completely different. And it's not that they're bad. Oh, you just this bad person, or I'm just this bad person. No, literally, when you read it, it's like, damn, I've been like that. Oh, it's not because I'm just this different person. No, everybody like this is like this. And it had it down to my favorite color, man. I was like, oh my good. And it really brings me like a relief. Cause you are a certain way and you're like, man, why am I'm always about goal setting and executing. And then when you're talking to certain people, they make you seem like that's wrong for sound. And then when you read yourself, you're like, oh no, that's just your personality type. And so you have to know theirs to know how to adjust and know what you're really listening to. They're not insensitive. No, this person is not insensitive. No, this is just how they see life. So it's like, oh, knowledge of self is deeper than this, man. You got to really know you. So when we're talking about the word, how do you receive the word? Because watching a video with me may not be how you best learn. You may have to, okay, we read but is there a transcription? You may have to transcribe it. You may have to use AI and then go back and read it. And that's how I get full with the word. So don't just, assume, hey, man, I'm watching a lecture. Okay, everybody not visual learners. Some people say, man, if I read the study guide book where we reading the minister's words verbatim, that's how I read it. Well, that's how you got to read it. That's how you got to get it. That's how you got to study. Don't just be okay with, well, I watched the wheelcast. If you didn't really get nothing from it, how are you going to get full with the word? We got to get full with the word. Because that's the first step. So now we can go drop something on the ground and bring up vegetation. And that may be converse, but it also may be bring up a better life within yourself. Bring up some better relationships with yourself. Bring up some sales in your business. Whatever it is, you have to know you in order for this to really, really, really work. These are principles. But I got to know me to know how to apply the principles. I got to know me enough to know, okay, how best is it for me to market? Because marketing, what I'm learning is I may be the person that'll go live. I may be the person that put me in front of a room I can present. But then what I'm learning is if I teach this to somebody that when that ain't their personality, I'm really coaching them wrong. That ain't how they supposed to do it because they have a different way of doing it. I may need to adjust. Hey, do it this way. And as I'm learning all this, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm thinking back on all different type of problems I done had and things people didn't understand. I'm like, oh man. So knowledge of self is deep, man. So when it says knowledge of self, is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in Message to the Black Man, knowledge of self is the prerequisite to all other knowledge. as I'm learning this stuff, man, and I'm learning what people have scientifically proven about human beings and how, I'm like, man, see, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't necessarily break it down like that, but as you learn it and you know the teachings, you're saying, oh, he did say knowledge of self is a prerequisite to all other knowledge. I can take that and say, okay, this is kind of how that can relate. That's the principle that can be used here. So yeah, man, it's deep. Understanding what moves you, understanding what gets you going. We have to know that, because we'll if we don't know that, we'll look at these lectures and these messages and say, oh, it don't work. Oh, he talking about vision. Oh, the minister's talking about you got to see the vision. He talking about you got to, yeah, and he's right. But if we're missing, okay, my component, my makeup, my mind, my upbringing, my personality, and I'm not filtering it through that, I won't do it the right way and then assume, oh, my life ain't getting better and it don't work. That's not the case. It's not that what Dr. Miles Monroe, it's not what he said was wrong. It's not that what the minister said was wrong. We aren't doing it in the proper way to bring about the success and the results that we want. So really, we got to look at ourselves and blame ourselves. So let's go to Brother Anton.
Assalamu alaikum.
Excellent.
Nah, something one of the brothers said about making sure that the thoughts we have about ourselves is not somebody else's thoughts. And it made me think about when I was 18, I was on a level 4 prison yard, and we was going to the chow hall to eat, and I end up at a table. It said 4 at a table, but I end up at a table with nothing but, like, I guess you could say white supremacist, skinhead type dudes. But as I'm sitting there eating my food, to this day, you know, I always wonder, was I picking up on their thoughts, or was these my own personal thoughts concerning myself? But as I'm sitting there and we all eating, all I can hear in my head is, nappy-headed nigga. You know, all the negative thoughts or things they would say about us as I'm sitting at this table, you know, with these white supremacist dudes. And that just, as I think back on it, you know, it just showed me the importance of us making sure we have a proper and healthy perception of ourselves, which knowledge of self is very important, because sometimes we'll be moving through life with personal opinions about ourselves, but it's not even our own personal opinion. It's something that somebody else may have said about us, whether they was making fun of us or just, you know, just being stupid or being mean, you know? So we gotta really make sure, like you were saying, we gotta make sure we understand ourselves as an individual and what move us or what experience we had to make us think a certain way or whatever. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Sister Randisha.
Yes, sir. So assalamu alaikum, family. So there's a few points that stood out to me. One was when the minister said Jesus loved the poor, worked for the poor, and came from the poor. The minister also stated that this world's education is not the right education. He put also, who knows God's power? And when the minister was actually talking about on the guns, and he was talking about when he was speaking and the white police officer was in the audience listening, and, you know, he said that he felt a little bit of fear. And he was saying, once he got done with the white officer, he was like, no, sir, no, sir. Like, he didn't want to hear anymore. But because he was speaking on truth, he was able to speak into that man's heart, not to him, but to his heart. He said that also, he says that, you know, the beast is trying to send him to prison. He said, and I'll go, like he went, talking about Jesus. He put, I'll be the winner because God is the winner. And he also said, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. He also said that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And he wanted us to pick up our faith and put on the whole armor of God. When I think about that, I think about Marvin Sapp, when he said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And then he said, you know, we said, our life, our death, and our sacrifices all for Allah. And also the abuse of ignorance from our people. He said that we don't know how to go and get our people because we don't understand the abuse and the ignorance from our people. And when the minister was talking about the guns, he was actually saying that they don't fear our guns. So, to the gang members, etc., because they have something that is for us. And he also stated in another lecture that when they come for us, like they're not, like we don't carry weapons in the Nation of Islam, but what we do carry is the truth. Some of us are going to be killed, some of us are going to be jailed, some of us are going to go through certain things, but as a soldier, we have to prepare the mind so that the heart can be ready for that time. I took so many notes. It's like I got a whole book over here. And then Miles Morales though, he because it leads into that, he put you are not a leader if you don't have self-discipline. The key to achieving your vision is discipline. Where there is no vision, the people will appear. I believe this the minister. Your destiny dictates your decision. We think we know what God wants us to do, clear of the revelation. Difference between growing and change. He put 14, 15, 16, and 17. Vision chooses your attitude in life. Vision chooses your life. Vision chooses your plan. Vision dictates your value. And when he was talking about David, Peter, Joseph, I was thinking about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with his Ezekiel-like vision when he went up to the mountain. He said that the vision on the hill or the mountain. So I just think that, as it relates to those things, that the minister has already given us the blueprint, but we have to try it. How can you ever know that a plan works if you never try? That's just like saying that, you got the book, but you never read it, or you got the car, but you never drove it. So that's what I would like to leave you all with in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Brother Curtis.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Well, I just wanted to touch up on, when you was talking about, like, everybody was talking about taking advantage of our opportunities and stuff like that. And for me, every day I wake up and I'm like, is today the day, what I'm saying? Is today the day I'm going to be successful? Or is today the day that I'm going to get something done that I, what I'm saying, accomplish something? But I think that, a lot of us is struggling with it. They're trying to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Let me catch my breath. A lot of times, what I'm saying, we just trying to find the right way to do it. You know what I mean? You don't want to cut back on your morals, or you don't want to do nothing that you're going to regret. So, what I mean? I feel for a lot of us, it's just, trying to do it the right way. You know what I mean? And I feel like my time is coming real soon. I just feel it, in my soul and in my heart. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, the time is coming soon. I feel like, time is coming for us all soon, to where we're going to rise up and, we're going to be great, and we're going to, we're going to bring the nation high up in the ranks, and I'm just happy for this platform. I'm just happy that y'all allow me to speak, and I'm gonna leave, what I'm saying? I'm just gonna leave with that, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Brother Daniel.
Yes, sir. I always like to try to synchronize with what I heard because most of the points I'm hearing helps to make my point more thorough. A great system, what the brother was just speaking, is powerful. It reminds me of what the minister said when he opened up. He thoroughly went into the temporary rule of this world, and he made it clear that if our vision is totally wrapped up in this world and only this world, then we're in trouble because this world is on its way out. So hearing him say that, it makes me to understand that I have to have a vision that's rooted in belief in what Master Muhammad told us through the two messiahs, and that my vision has to be wrapped up in faith and something that I don't even see yet. because the enemy's world is very much seen, very much real. But the black businesses, the black communities ran by black people, a separate line, and all of these things are in the making, but they are not present yet. So, as it has been stated, I have to become a vessel that's working that reality in my personal life, where I'm doing enough to comfortize my soul that I know I believe in the vision. And that's only going to come through study, submission, and obedience. Also, I'm thinking of, there's one more point. Come back to my mind. Oh boy, it slipped my mind. Sometimes Allah take your thought because He don't want you to go into it. So I'll just end right there. If it come back to me, great brother, I'll come back.
Yes, sir. Brother Timothy, part 2.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to add on to what I was talking about before, back to the book of Malachi, when he said, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet." But I just noticed just now while I read it about 5 more times, and I don't know if it was the minister. I think the minister said, whenever you read the Quran, or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when you read the Quran, apply it to today's time, or even the Bible. Try to apply it to today's time and see who do the people fit. So we know for a fact that no other people fit the description of people in the Bible but us as African Americans that are here. So when I hear this chapter contains an account of the destruction of the wicked Jews, we know who that is, and brings happiness to the righteous, our people, we know who that is, by the coming of the Messiah. Now, I don't apply that just to 4,000 years ago in Jesus Christ's time. I apply that to today's time. So when they say the Messiah, we know that Minister Louis Farrakhan is our light torch for the darkest days that we in today. I could fit pieces to the puzzle of this exact saying to today's time. This chapter contains an account of the destruction of the wicked Jews. We know that the Caucasian is going out. He going out like an old pair of jeans, and brings happiness to the righteous by the coming of the Messiah, which bring happiness to us as African Americans here on the West, with the Messiah and the rising of the Minister Louis Farrakhan trying to be our divine warner, which completes Malachi's plea for Israel to be faithful to God. I said, well, which completes the Minister Louis Farrakhan plea for America to have faith and belief in Allah. So I try to just put the pieces of the puzzle together and see how I can make it make more sense for me. Because when I read about Jesus from back in the day, sometimes it used to throw me off. But now that I could apply us today to the same scriptures, a lot of things make a lot more sense. And that makes us as the righteous and believers and the faithful in what we can't see, that makes us more, that just makes our belief stronger. And the topic of today was what the minister spoke on, which is belief in Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Brother Wesley?
You got a new list. Sister Shanima wanted to comment for the first time.
Yes, sir. Sister Shanima, you ready?
Hi, yeah, hi. Assalamu alaikum. I'm sorry, moving around a lot. That's what I get for staying up all night. And I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. Somebody hit my car like during the snow, and it just kept going, right? So, good morning. I love how everyone is kind of like it's connecting like the thoughts, because I'm really coming in and out, but I feel like I can follow the thought, because the signature of community and this cohesive medium is that we come together somehow. And I wonder, go back to, I probably what you guys say, veggie back off of what points have been made before, but I like the concept of the timelessness of God. And I wanted to speak about the signature and his principles. And then I I'm in my studies now, and the further I go in my studies, the more I learn and can reflect that this is a superior teaching. Sorry, all the alarms start going off. And so the timelessness of God, how the minister put it before, how he steps out of eternity or steps out of infinity. And we like to use the term that he is an on-time God, and that's his signature. That's one of his principles, that everything he does is completely relevant to the now. So when people say something like, you ever hear one of our brothers and sisters say, "I does this," that's God. He never did something that he doesn't do anymore. If he did something and he's going to do something, that he's doing it. He's doing all of that all the time. He does this. That's what he does. That's his signature. He operates in the now, and our faith is an activating key to connect to him. And I just think it's wonderful that we continue to remind ourselves that this is a growing, this is a development. We're not anywhere near where we would like to be or where we imagined ourselves to be. And I thought it was very interesting that I heard people reflecting on the dynamic is called inversion. And I had a thought that closely resembled that in the last 12 hours. And I realized that I've got to be the truth of what I envision in my faith now. My reflection doesn't matter. My reflection doesn't matter. I can't be any more beautiful than I am right now. I can't do anything about the way I appear, but I can do something about the truth of what I am. And that only happens with like a reflection. And the blessing that we have as humans is that we have time to reflect. Imagine being something all the time and having never had to develop. That's the burden of the God. He is always God, and we have time to develop. We get to be who we are now, and then we get to be who he wants us to be eventually. And we have all this time in between to find out where our development will take us, and what we need to bring into our development. And another concept that I heard discussed here on the call is the principle of light and development and growth. And the environment that we're in is it's so relevant. It's completely contingent upon how we view our immediate assets, our immediate environment, and how we use our resources. And if we start to value our environment differently, we can utilize any aspect of our life to improve. And it doesn't matter what the reflective value of these resources are. It's what truth you find in your goals and how you can use these aspects. And so I wanted to encourage the sharers, mostly because I feel like they make the dynamics and the message cogent, so that there's a bridge between whether you got the message or you're hearing God. And so I appreciate so much that there's always this time. And I hope that wasn't too disjointed.
Thank you for sharing, sister.
Yes, principles. Yeah, principles. And signatures of God. And another thing is that we see, for instance, that his name is hallowed be his name. And it's because his principle is, there's so many of them, so many things at once, that the name is hallowed. We get called by a name, and we determine that we either reflect that principle or we don't. And imagine that your name is what you're called, but it's not what you are. And our principles and our signatures can be aligned with our true self when you find out how God speaks to you. And I hope that makes sense. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. All right, Brother Daniel.
Oh yes, sir. That point came back to me. When we believe in Allah and our vision increased from that belief and obedience, change. The Honorable Mr. Farrakhan said change is constant in creation. And I think someone said it earlier. We don't like to be uncomfortable. And change, when we are getting into the vision of God, and that vision leads us in a certain direction in this world's life, it produces a change that brings pain, and it becomes very uncomfortable because sometimes that change entails separation, letting things go. I remember when we was listening to The Purpose by our brother last week, and he said that if you in a group and you find that you're the smartest one in the group, it might be time to change your company because you're, in so many words, you might just be feeding your ego and you're not growing. So I thought about that aspect of change, and I realized that I have an aversion to change because I'm asking for things are coming, but I might have to change my schedule here and there. I might have to make some adjustments that I'm used to, but it becomes very uncomfortable. And if I'm not able to adjust to that which I want in life, then I won't get what I want in life, in regards of how uncomfortable those changes might be. So I just wanted to bring that point up because I'm finding in my own life that the inability to make a change when it's necessary can have us fighting our own vision and be twirling around the same circle over and over again. And the answer might be change is right in your face, but you just want to let this person go. You don't want to leave this job. Like our dear brother, he playing ball. I'm not gonna say he was a star basketball player, but it sounded like he was pretty good. But he had to walk away from that to do what he's doing now. I'm a musician. I had to walk away from studios and producing nice beats and all of that stuff because it wasn't my calling. I liked the beats, but I wasn't going to be making the money for my family in it. So I had to let that go. So change could be very, very hard in this belief in Allah and having a vision. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You can go ahead and throw throw that star on there. Yeah, go on. Yeah, you see them. You see them trophies behind me. Yeah, you see them trophies back there. Yeah, I don't know about now, man. I done shoot. Man. I had a game last night, men's league game. Man, my whole right side of my back hurting, man. I ain't young as I used to be, man. I used to come to the gym, used to didn't have to stretch and nothing like that. Now, man, I mean, I ain't even do nothing. I'm just running up and down the court. Good. You remember when Martin had hurt his back and he was just dancing? It's depressing, man, to know that I'm getting older, man, and I got to stretch now. Man, it's just thinking about it. But yeah, back in the day, I had a little something. But now, shoot, boy, I got to stretch now. Now I know what the older people used to mean when they used to say, "Oh man, I'm just getting my cardio in. Ain't nobody trying to do it." I used to think, "Y'all, that's just your excuse because you ain't that good." Now that's me, man. I'm just trying to get my cardio in. I'm just trying to stay in shape. That's all I'm trying to do. Let's go to Sister Randisha.
Yes, sir. And so one last point that I had to make, I'm not sure if I'm saying it verbatim. So whoever knows what is intended that I'm saying, you can put it in the comments. But the minister said that, sometimes we're not doing a good work because we're actually killing his work. And I believe that he was talking about, just the believers that are coming in. And as he was talking about, fornication, et cetera, is that sometimes we are so quick to judge those, as Sister Yolanda was saying, that are coming in, right? We're from the same streets. We're from, everybody have their different lives and their different realms. But sometimes when we come into the mosque, we definitely need somebody to grab our hand and not look down upon us. So if Jesus came from the poor and he loved the poor, and we are of those people that are the poor, we're poor righteous people. Is that we definitely have to change our thinking. And I was also thinking is that the minister's also preparing us for a fight, right? This is why we went back to hypocrisy, to study guide number 17. And if we carefully read, it's certain things in there that I had to read over again because I consider myself, I was not able to fight when I was younger because I never wanted to hurt nobody. But as I got older and I started attending classes, et cetera, And I went to the national conference, and one of the brothers that was demonstrating, one of the instructors, when he choked me, I was trying to get out of the chokehold. Like, I wasn't trying to mess him up or nothing like that. But he was like, "Oh, you're a fighter." But as Sister Yasina said, sometimes I have to know when to actually let out that wing, and I actually have to let out that sword. You've been touched by an angel, and when that sword should come out. So it's just certain things that we have to learn. But when we actually log on to the nation's program, it says, this teaching is to give you new thoughts, new ideas. So if we have those old thoughts, that means that we're coming to something that is going to change our thoughts, that is going to evolve us. But if we have faith, right? You know how like you get into trouble or something like that, and you're like, "Oh, Allah, if you get me out of this, I promise I won't do it again." We got to always have that faith as if we're in trouble, to just make sure that He is the forefront of everything. So, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Sister Yolanda?
Another thing the minister said in belief in Allah is God is closing down His shorts to force you out, and with no vision, you feel a sense of loss. So self said, pick up our Savior has arrived, going like your nephew did. And in chapter 18, we cannot be considered a free people as long as we are in the slave master's name. This is the white name man never advised the so-called need. That's not what I wanted to read. That ain't what that ain't it. Hold up, she coming. That ain't it.
Somebody needed to hear that. Shoot.
Yes, sir. Chapter 19, the black man. Allah in the person of Master Farah Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, taught me that there are not any gods who will live forever. Their wisdom and the work may live 6,000 or 25,000 years, but the actual individual may have died within 100 or 200 years. So, human beings are created according to the life of the universe and the planets. Master Farah Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, taught me that the original designer and maker of the universe created it on time, and there is an end to it. So as we see this world coming down before us, it was another thing I wondered, but I done picked up and left out the house. In our visions, we on this topic, Miles Monroe, the belief in Allah, so on and so forth. In our visions, in my vision, in my work, Sister Yolanda, what you doing? You got things going on up there in your head that can help build the nation, help you start. Whether you see it manifest before you return back to Allah or not, what have I started doing? What type of works am I putting in? Whether it's helping my people, fishing people in, thinking of how I could build a nation, for example, in my mosque. Number 4, a brother had mentioned, we need to start buying some property up around this mosque. So when our minister come, he have a place to go. He don't have to go to no hotel or stay where it has to cost. He'll have a home away from home. So in the doing of the work, and it's all tying into the vision, in my belief, as I get into doing work, stuff be coming out of nowhere. I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, where did that thought come from? Like, what you doing? Now I got a whole nother plan. So, Brother Ben, I'm gonna blame you, nephew, because I done had about 3-4 things that come into my head since I've been home and been on this power call and writing down the stuff in my composition books. But nevertheless, it's all good. Oh, there I go again. Dang. Nevertheless, my bad. But moving right along. So I'm gonna take the man who brings the word and study the man, as I said before. For the man is the action, and therefore, when you study the man and on the word, the love that you have in your heart for the man is the key to unlock the power of the word. Then bring me this word. Minister Kadir, other student ministers, Brother Hawk, Brother Nuri, Brother Demetrius, so on and so forth. Studying the man, listen to the word. He got the word from a man. So I need to let this word permeate in my heart because we are Farrakhan. Farrakhan, like ye are all gods. It's a renewing of the mind, changing the stinking thinking, and man, it's a daily process for me. So I'm not saying it like it's easy, and we all gonna go through trials, but my boots is on the ground. I'm gonna be tested for my authenticity to see if I believe in what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. Because we all how does it say in the Holy Quran? You can't say nearly, I'm jacking it all up. Somebody save me, throw me a life preserver. You can't say you believe and not be tried.
Yeah, do the believer think that they would go on thinking, saying that they believe and not be tried?
Believe and not be tried. Yes, sir. So we all might play a little tiny part in this. Play your part. Know your role. Do what you do. It may not manifest right now, but it may come 40, 100, whatever years from now. But nevertheless, when you go back to Allah, between that dash, that brother, that sister right there, they was about this work. They, whatever it is. So we got to gird up our loins, do our little exercises, because I understand totally about that. This body acting different as the years continue to go on. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't even like this. But nevertheless, I'm going to keep pressing on. I don't like to say what we should do because it's what I need to do.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't do it for me. Brother Ben can't do it. Sister Fran, Brother Wesley, Sister Randisha, Sister Shena, they could bring me the word, but they can't do it for me. So while I'm on the power call, I'm going to be talking to myself. So excuse me if I talk about myself in the third person because I need it for me. I need it for me. Okay, I might have a number one the third time. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, excellent. Now we about to close out. We got 5 more minutes.
Oh.
I see a brother that said, Brother Maximus said, people tend to mix up accountability and judging. There should be expectations, especially if preaching or speaking to the people. Wrong is wrong. Misinformation is misinformation. That's why self-knowledge, studying is important in development in area where you have a strength. And I would agree. There's a scripture, John 7:24 says, do not judge. Wait, according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment, or another translation says judge righteously. So that only God can judge me came from the book of Tupac, y'all. That wasn't from the Bible. I don't know why. It don't say nothing about you can't judge. Now, we shouldn't cast a judgment on somebody as if we know their destination and their destiny based on what they're doing, because we don't have that type of juice, right? But we can judge righteously according to what is right without condemning a person to something. So that's the balance that we have to have. So they want to clarify that because many of us, I see this all the time. Oh, God, you can't everybody got it tattooed on them and everything. And that ain't now scripture that say that. But I get it. But so you can judge people righteously, but without being too self-righteous either, right? So the minister says the worst form of hypocrisy, because everybody want to throw around hypocrite. Everybody want to say what everybody got it in he said the worst form of hypocrisy is the self-righteousness, because you think somebody deserves to be condemned when you have been blinded by your own what did he say? By your own unworthiness in the eyesight of God. So let's just balance it. That's all. And then the last thing that I wanted to share before we get out of here is this, because many people have talked about coming on, we listening, but then putting together a plan, putting it into practice and executing. Listen to what the scripture says. It says, As for you, son of man, your people are talking together about you by the walls and at the doors of the houses, saying to each other, come and hear the message that has come from the Lord, right? That sounds familiar. That's what we're doing. Hey, man, we listening. We tuned in to the message. Then it says, this is Ezekiel chapter 33, by the way, 30 through about 35. My people come to you as they usually do and sit before you to hear your words, but they do not put them into practice. Their mouths speak of love, but their hearts are greedy for unjust gain. It says, indeed, to them you are nothing more than one who sings love songs with a beautiful voice and plays an instrument well, for they hear your words, but do not put them into practice. When all this comes true, and it surely will, then they will know that a prophet has been among them. The word of thy Lord came to, well, nope, that was it. That last one was, when all these terrible things happen to them, as they certainly will, then they will know a prophet has been among them. So just wanted to give us that, because I know the minister always says, y'all treat me like a lovely song. Y'all heard me come out on Savior's Day and everybody's here and everybody's clapping and y'all love to see me. But what are we doing to execute and strive to apply his word? And again, it ain't cold turkey. So listen, don't get it twisted. It's easier said than done. I know the right thing to do. Tomorrow I'm going to do it. So I'm not saying if you ain't got it yet, then you just this terrible person. We all got some stuff we got to learn how to, not even that learn. We just got to do it. But make sure that it's on our mind, though. It's at the forefront of our mind. Okay, let me get on it. At least 1% better, 2% better every day, versus just saying nothing. That's just me, and I'm not going to apply it. Let's strive to apply it. So when we listen to the power call, we listening to the minister, or we listening to Miles Monroe or E.T. whomever, let's really strive to apply it. Let's really strive to see how we can execute it in our lives, because that's what this power call is for, is to change our lives, not for us to just come listen every day. Like, that's cool. Everybody get up in the morning, all be tuned in. We all getting the powerful word. But if our life ain't getting better, then we really wasting our time. If our relationships ain't getting better when we listen to this stuff and we get canceled, like, we really wasting our time. And we just clapping. And remember, my student minister said, when Satan see us and we go to the mosque and we just listen, he said, oh, that's my nigga. There you go. Yes, sir. Go ahead, boy. Go on. Make sure you're there early for the power call. Go ahead. Go to the mosque. Make sure you're there on time. Go to your MGT class. That's my nigga. I see you. As long as we go in, get all this knowledge, but we don't come back out and strive to build anything in contrary to his word, because I'm relating this back to Dr. Miles Monroe. We have let good confuse us or distract us from doing right. Yeah, that's good going to class. That's good going to study group. That's good getting on the power call. That's good knowing how to quote it. But then if we don't go use it now to build up our life and build up a world for ourselves, Satan ain't tripping. He don't have no problem with that. So let's just keep that on the forefront of our mind as we leave. Sister Randisha, if you can tell us about the power call chat and what you guys got going on this Thursday, and then I got to get out of there because I'm 1 minute behind.
Yes, sir. So Assalamu alaikum family, really quick. If you haven't upgraded, sisters, please upgrade, because it is only for sisters on the premium side. But if you can, please attend your sisters chat. Definitely, we've been having a great time, great conversations. It is a safe space. So come out on Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We look forward to seeing you.
All right, y'all. Assalamu alaikum, and I'll see you guys, inshallah, tomorrow morning. Peace, and have a blacktastic day.